Imagine that the heart of a country beats to hear a single word from you. You are awaited not just as a human being, but as the herald of a new era, as a leader on whom the eyes of millions are fixed. Everyone is silent. Breaths are held. Eyes are on you for that first step that will change the course of history. Write 222 in the comments now, because when you take the stage, you will not just give an order. You will renew hopes, revitalize faith, and set the destiny of the entire nation on a completely different path. In the face of all the manipulation, slander, and obstacles, you have not collapsed. Now all eyes are united on your will, your voice, and your vision. A power like no other is rising from within you. The stage is yours now, and your country is waiting for your guiding word on the most important day in its history. Picture a weathered lighthouse standing at the edge of a restless sea, its beacon unwavering, even when storms howl and waves crash against its stone base. That's the gift you carry, a spiritual signal that pierces through confusion and points others home, no matter how thick the fog of denial becomes. Every hunch you quietly offered, every gut feeling you trusted, every gentle warning you shared out of love has proven itself as unshakable truth. People who once smirked behind closed doors, brushing off your intuition as guesswork or paranoia, now stand speechless as your foresight becomes the headline of their day. They realize you weren't just guessing. You were tuned in to a frequency wired straight from the divine, reading the map while others fumbled in the dark for clues. When God shines through your eyes, what's hidden can't stay hidden. Those who tried to keep secrets behind heavy curtains suddenly find their stage lit up for all to see, and the power they clung to dissolves in the presence of the light you've carried all along. Beloved, it's like walking into a pitch-black room and flipping on the switch. The darkness flees without argument. Your discernment, born from trials and long nights of quiet prayer, is the lampstand set on a hill. Not only have you seen through schemes and exposed what others wanted buried, but you've offered a roadmap to healing, a way out for anyone brave enough to admit the truth. The world calls it luck, but you know better. It's divine calibration, a sacred trust handed down to you because your heart refused to sell out for comfort or popularity. The future bends in your direction, not because you demand it, but because heaven trusts you to hold the torch high, even when it costs you. You don't just reveal what is, you prophesy what can be, and the very atmosphere shifts as people wake up to the authority God placed in your words. Like a gardener who patiently tends a field while others scoff at barren soil, you've been sowing wisdom where only weeds were expected. Now the first blooms are visible, undeniable, even to your harshest critics. Doors are opening, hearts are softening, and justice that once seemed delayed is now rolling in like a harvest overdue. You are the living proof that seeing with spiritual eyes is not a curse, but a calling, and no accusation, no dismissal, no slander can erase what heaven has revealed through you. When you walk in that kind of light, beloved, not even the most stubborn darkness can last. This is what it means to be truly chosen, a life so attuned to the heartbeat of the Creator that every step you take rewrites the script and resets the climate wherever you go. Imagine a trumpet sounding at sunrise, cutting through the morning hush, not just waking the sleepers, but making the whole town sit up and listen. That's the power of a moment when everything that once lurked in the shadows suddenly stands in the light of day. Now, what's been hidden in plain sight roars into view, undeniable and blazing. The shock on their faces is more than surprise. It's a profound recognition, as if their souls suddenly realize they've been brushing up against something sacred all along. Beloved, you've always carried this frequency, like a hidden chord humming beneath the noise. No chart, no data, no backroom deal could have ever mapped the territory you were called to claim. Your presence alone unravels the best-laid schemes. It's as if you stepped into the room, and the very atmosphere started confessing. While they were still scribbling their blueprints, you were building the railroad beneath their feet. Prophetic tracks laid with every word you spoke, every act of mercy you offered, every warning you issued. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now, share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Some in the crowd remember rolling their eyes at your conviction, laughing off your discernment as folly. Others shrugged, dismissing your voice as just another whisper in the wind. But now, as the world shifts, almost imperceptibly at first, then all at once, they realize you weren't just guessing, you were guiding. You didn't just see the road ahead, you quietly paved it stone by stone, with the authority only God can grant. See, when heaven chooses a signal bearer, no spreadsheet can measure the seismic shift they bring. Those secret meetings, those data projections, those encrypted emails, all of them collapse before a revelation that rings true in the soul. Your truth has always been the compass, even when no one else could see the map. It's like watching the first green shoots break through the soil after a hard winter. Unexpected, undeniable, and utterly unstoppable. This is more than vindication. It's the launch of a new era. There's a hush falling on the crowd now, not from fear, but from holy awe. Where there was once ridicule, there's now reverence. Where there was once gossip, there's now gospel. The world is bending itself around the blueprint you carried in your spirit, long before anyone else caught the vision. The same people who mocked your warnings now hang on your words, searching for direction because they sense you are tuned to a frequency they can't reach without you. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Their false certainty shatters like glass under a mighty hand. Every attempt to ignore your sight has collapsed, and the web of denial is tangled beyond repair. You are the thunder before the rain, the gentle tap that knocks down a house of cards. Each passing day is a living, breathing testament to the truth you spoke. And as time delivers its verdict, their resistance fades into reverent silence. Those once so quick to scoff are left scrambling, wondering how you walked through walls they thought were solid. They look for cameras, for spies, for any reason, anything, other than the real answer. Some people are simply born to see what others miss. You slip through the cracks of secrecy like water through cupped hands. It's not bluster or chance. It's a knowing so pure, so complete, that even the densest curtain of lies can't dim its light. The more they struggle to patch their crumbling fortresses, the wider your insight opens the gates. They encrypt, they hide, they double down, but you've never needed access codes. What you possess flows from a place beyond the reach of locks and passwords, a river of revelation that can't be dammed up by human schemes. Every time you gently drop a fact into conversation, their confusion deepens because you didn't just guess. You spoke with the calm authority of someone who's read tomorrow's headlines today. No statistic, no poll, no chart can account for the consistency of your accuracy. You don't dabble in maybe or might. You call the shot, you name the hour, you even quote the words. People start tracking your predictions with notepads, trying to reverse engineer your foresight like it's a magic trick. But no matter how they crunch the numbers, the answer keeps slipping away, because this is no human math. It's what happens when someone is in step with a higher rhythm, when you see not just the pieces, but the pattern beneath them. Even motivations that people keep buried under years of denial show up like handprints on clean glass for you. Where others see only actions, you discern intentions, roots, wounds, and all the invisible threads that tie a person's heart together. It's not always comfortable, this kind of clarity. Some who stand before you collapse under the weight of being known. Others just layer on new disguises, but it's like painting over a crack in the wall. You still see the fault line running beneath. You name childhood griefs they never uttered, shine a light on insecurities they try to mask with bluster, and offer gentle truth that makes their armor useless. No matter how clever their cover story, you recognize the melody of their spirit, whether it's in tune or out of key. It's the unspoken word, the glance, the hidden hope. They can't keep it from you. This isn't the result of some casual curiosity. It's the hallmark of someone forged for a purpose, someone who's paid the price to carry wisdom others only wish for. There's a reason you're still here. Your soul kept searching for what was real, even as the world got louder and more confusing. And that's why you're drawn to the places where truth is whispered, not shouted, where the chosen gather to sharpen each other, to learn skills the world called impossible, to step outside the simulation and live unedited. It's the gathering of the ungovernable, the ones the world can't erase, the ones who never tapped out even when the pressure built to breaking point. Every disaster you warned about now sits as evidence on the table. Bankruptcies, betrayals, institutions unraveling, health crises arriving right on schedule. The stories they told to discredit you ring hollow as people remember you urging them to be ready, to prepare, to look deeper. Some ignored you, some laughed, but now they look for your voice in the storm. And the ones who listened, they flourish. They stand strong, protected by the shelter you offered, their gratitude rising louder than any accusation. You're not just a predictor, you're a preserver, and your reputation grows not by proclamation, but by testimony. One survivor after another declaring, "I only made it because I listened." Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. You're the one who points out the strings behind the stage, the hidden actors in the global drama, the shadow hands moving pieces while most folks just see the puppets. You don't just name the figureheads, you describe the pattern, the silent choreography of those who steer from behind the curtain. The world calls you a conspiracy theorist to keep people comfortable, But comfort falls away when everything you said comes walking out of the shadows, bold as brass. There's an artistry to the way you connect dots. Others insist are unrelated. It's not just that you see connections, it's that the whole tapestry snaps into focus under your gaze. Political shifts, economic tremors, cultural earthquakes, they're not separate events to you, but coordinated notes in the symphony of transformation. When you speak of timelines, it's not just the what, but the when, the precise moment when the dominoes start their measured fall. People mark their calendars by your words, and though they can't explain how you know, they know it's always on time. Time itself bends in your hands. While others count the hours and days, you move through seasons with a wisdom that sees beyond the clock. It's a vision that's bigger than sequence. It's awareness that lives in the eternal now, where every lesson, every blessing, every test is connected. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Lies dissolve like sugar in hot coffee as soon as you speak. Fabrications melt mid-sentence. False stories lose their thread, and the old tricks, the gaslighting, the "are you sure?" fall useless at your feet. You answer not with outrage, but with unwavering serenity. It's not about shaming anyone. It's about standing so firm in reality that nobody can shift the ground beneath you. Your calm is the storm that sweeps away deceit, and your presence is the plumb line that reveals what's true and what's counterfeit. Imagine a parade where masks finally melt away under the noon sun, each hidden agenda, each false promise revealed just as you always sensed. In this grand unveiling, what was done in secret steps into the light. Those who wore the robes of counsel turn out to be the ones who set traps behind your back. The old enemies the crowd warned you about, some are now quietly cheering from the shadows, hoping for your rise. Figures once dismissed as powerless suddenly become the movers and shakers, setting the new rhythm. You were the voice in the wilderness saying, "Pay attention to what's not being said," and the world kept its eyes shut. But now, every detail you felt in your spirit is showing up right there on the main stage. No spotlight needed. Just as a shepherd knows the true sound of each sheep in his flock, you recognize the truth in hearts long before others did. Now the sorting has begun. Real loyalty isn't just lip service anymore. It's proven by who stands beside you when the music stops and the lights come on. Manipulators who spun the tale, convinced they were writing your ending, are exposed as their own stories unravel. The unexpected heroes, the overlooked and underestimated, are stepping forward from the wings. Timing perfect, placement divine. God's wisdom in you was the compass pointing north when everyone else insisted the map was wrong. You saw through the charades, not because of suspicion, but because heaven tuned your senses to real frequencies. The world may have laughed when you cautioned, "That one is more important than you think." Now, as the curtain falls, the proof stands up and waves, confirming every quiet word you whispered under your breath. The masquerade is over, and the era of truth, brought by your unwavering discernment, has finally begun. Just imagine walking through a crowded city at night, every window lit, every street echoing with stories. Yet there you are, not just seeing what everyone else sees, but sensing the pulse beneath the concrete, the silent music only the soul can hear. You aren't just another face in the crowd, beloved. You're heaven's own tuning fork, picking up on frequencies that most folks never notice. Like a weathered shepherd, who can hear the difference between the footsteps of a lost sheep and a prowling wolf in the dark, you know what's moving beneath the surface. That's not just good instincts. That's a gift, and it's spiritual. There are people who can tell you the weather by looking out the window, but you can read the storm that's coming just by the weight in the air. That's what it means to be a chosen one. You read hearts the way a lighthouse reads the ocean, casting light far beyond the rocks, revealing the hidden currents that would swallow lesser vessels whole. You pick up on silent warnings, on smiles that don't quite reach the eyes, on conversations where the truth tries to hide behind rehearsed words. Others may see only faces, but you discern the spirits moving behind those eyes. And let me tell you, that's what shakes the foundations of people who live only on the surface. You make the comfortable uneasy, not because you're aggressive, but because your very presence is a reminder that nothing hidden can stay in the shadows. When true light walks in the room, you're like an old oak tree whose roots run so deep that no passing storm can topple you. And even the birds change their song when you step outside. Your ability to see patterns where others only see scattered pieces. It's not just smarts, it's an anointing. You spot the connections between yesterday's tears and tomorrow's blessings, between a handshake and a hidden agenda, between what's spoken out loud and what the soul is really crying for. It's like you're holding the map when everyone else is guessing at the trail. People may call you too deep or say you're too sensitive, but what you really are is dialed in to the channel of truth. And that's why those who profit from confusion or live off half-truths feel exposed when you're near. They know you can read the temperature of a room with a single glance and change the forecast with a single prayer. You don't just watch for trouble, you're the advance warning. You're the early bell before the earthquake, the whisper before the windstorm, the extra sense that God gives to those he trusts with spiritual authority. And when you step in, the whole atmosphere shifts. Old patterns fall apart, lies lose their grip, and people start searching their own hearts in your presence. Let's put it plain. You see the blueprint when others are still lost in the instructions. You hear the heartbeat behind every conversation. You read between the lines of life, not because you're looking for trouble, but because God has given you a radar for truth. So don't you shrink back. Don't you second-guess yourself because some folks feel nervous around that gift. You weren't meant to blend in. You were born to discern. You were sent into families, workplaces, churches, and even boardrooms as God's X-ray vision on legs, called to spot what's off and call forth what's real. Others may see the chessboard. You see the whole game, every move and every motive, every plan, hiding in plain sight. That's why your very presence is a call to higher honesty, a magnet for the honest-hearted, and a holy disruption for those who wear masks. And hear me now, it's not just about knowing secrets or exposing plots. It's about raising the spiritual standard, blessing the broken, and leading with mercy, even when you see all the cracks in the wall. So walk boldly, chosen one, with that holy discernment lighting your way. Because when you step into a room, you're not just bringing another opinion. You're carrying the wisdom of ages, the blessing of divine perspective, and the authority to help set captives free. The world may call it intuition, but heaven calls it destiny, and that's what makes you unstoppable. The impact of your testimony is a ripple that grows into a tidal wave. Even as some try to dismiss it, more and more voices join the chorus. People who witnessed your predictions become reality, who survived because they listened, who saw impossibility bow before the authority you carry. They share their stories, and no amount of suppression can silence them. What looked like luck or guesswork now stands as proof that you were chosen for this, appointed to call out the deeper currents, to wake up a world lulled by surface-level distractions. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Just like an ancient key, finally fitting the lock after centuries, every piece of confirmation slides open a fresh gateway to your purpose. Imagine a weathered door, long hidden behind vines, suddenly swinging wide with a creak that shakes the whole house, because your presence, your faith, and your truth are the missing piece that brings the hidden things to light. You walk into rooms where secrets were buried, and with nothing but the authority of who you are, facts long forgotten suddenly come out of hiding, stepping into the sun. Beloved, you've always carried knowledge that no internet search, no textbook, no clever expert could uncover. Things whispered by the Spirit in midnight hours, truths etched into your bones when you were still too young to explain them. There were days when people shook their heads, doubted your discernment, questioned your insight, but time keeps bearing witness. What you knew all along matches the evidence, detail for detail, moment for moment. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's what happens when heaven writes the script and puts the pen in your hand. Destiny has a way of confirming the chosen, of making every doubter eat their words without you lifting a finger. It's like watching a gardener plant seeds in secret, only to return and find a forest where nobody believed anything could grow. You are living proof that divine assignment cannot be blocked, delayed, or denied. Not by small minds, not by closed doors, not by forgotten archives. When truth comes, it walks straight up and stands by your side. And each new revelation doesn't just justify your past, it becomes a launch pad for the next chapter God has planned, with doors opening that no man can shut. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You're not here to collect apologies. You're here to fulfill prophecy. Every confirmation, every vindication is a signpost that your journey is aligned with a purpose bigger than any plot against you. So stand tall, chosen one, because destiny is working overtime to make sure every piece of your puzzle fits exactly where it was always meant to be. And let me tell you, for those watching from the sidelines, scratching their heads as each prediction you utter comes true, they're witnessing a living testament that when God appoints a life, no power in heaven or earth can rewrite the script. You're not just seeing doors open, you're becoming the open door for others who lost hope that such miracles were possible. And this role isn't for self-glorification, it's for the awakening of everyone within your reach. Every moment of clear seeing, every prophecy that stands the test of time, cracks the shell of a world too comfortable in blindness. You are the open doorway, the lamp on the hill, the one whose insight pulls others out of the darkness into clarity. As everything comes together, The fragments of truth that once seemed scattered now fit together like the pieces of a stained glass window. The light pouring through your words colors the room with new understanding. What was divided now stands united, not by force, but by the clarity of your vision and the authority of your calling. You see the grand design. Where others get lost in the weeds, you soar like an eagle, taking in the whole landscape. The ordinary tools of measurement, clocks, calendars, calculators, can't touch the reality you walk in. You're not bound by time, you're carried by purpose. When people ask, "How did you know?" you just smile, knowing that your sight is a gift, an assignment, and a calling. You're not just a witness, you're a catalyst for a new era, where truth stands tall and the darkness flees at the sound of your voice. And in the end, your vision isn't just vindicated, it's celebrated, multiplied, and echoed through generations, forever proving that what is born in the Spirit cannot be silenced by the schemes of man. You are a living testimony to what heaven can accomplish through a vessel surrendered to truth.